Welcome back, students. In this class we are going to discuss another program based on function overloading concept. So here is a question. So this type of questions are asked for your board exam. So this is the question. Design a class to overload a function. Sum of as follows. The first function is int sum of int a comma int b with two integer arguments a and b. Calculate and return sum of all even numbers in the range of a and b. So here is a sample input over here. Sample input a equal 4 and b equal 60. Sample output sum equal 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus 12 plus 14 plus 16, that is equal to 70. The purpose is that we want to get the even numbers from 4 to 60 and find the sum of. Clear? So the next function is double sum double of n with the one double argument n. Calculate and return the product of the following series. Sum equal 1.0 into 1.2 into 1.4 into etc. up to n. So the next series is int sum of int n with one integer argument n. Calculate and return sum of only odd digits of the number n. Here is a sample input n equal 43,961. So the output will be like this. Sample output sum equal 3 plus 9 plus 1, that is equal to 30. Write the main method to create an object and invoke the above methods. So in this program they have told us to write some set of functions and invoke the functions by using a object. So I hope this concept is clear for you. So we have already discussed this type of programs earlier. So let's discuss this program. So what is the first function? Sum int sum of int a comma int b. So the name of the function is sum and the arguments we pass to the functions are a and b with the data type integer, that is int a int b. So see, what is the return type of this function? The return type of the function is int. It means that this function sum should return a value and that value should be also of integer type. So let's discuss what are the other things to be calculated in that function. So we know what is a function and what are the values we pass to that function and what is the return type of the function, and we know how our output will come. So output will be in the form of integer type. So they have clearly given here that we want to find sum of all even numbers in the range of a and b. That is, suppose we have given, that is a and b is the, here a is the initial value, b is the final value. Suppose we are giving a as 2 and b as 20. That is, between 2 and 20 we want to find the even numbers and find the sum of that even numbers. Here they have given that the value, suppose just consider the initial value, that is the value of, suppose the value of a is 4 and the value of b is 60. We want to find the even numbers between this range, that is between 4 and 60. So which are the even numbers between 4 and 16? That is 4, then 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 and 16. So these are the even numbers and we want to find the sum also. So this is the first thing we want to do. So let's move on to the program. So we have started our program. So we have given, here we have given the start our program with the class. That is class, and we have given a name overload. So since it is a function overloading program, we have to give other name, not a similar name as that of function. So we have given the name as overload. You can give any name according to your wish other than the function name. Don't give the same name as that of this function. Don't give sum over here. If you are giving sum over here, then it is a constructor overloading program. Clear? Okay. Class overload, then opening of our class, then so where we will declare all our functions in the program. The functions should be declared inside the class and outside the main block. So you may think about where is the main function. It will come after writing all these functions. So function should be written inside the class and outside the main block. So which is our first function? This is our first function, that is int sum of int a comma int b. So we know what is a and b. So a and b are the two numbers. So we want to find the even numbers between a and b and find their sum. And the return type, that is, and also the main thing is that the output, final output will be also integer type, since here the return type is written as int. So our program starts opening of the function. Then what is our main purpose? Our purpose is to find the sum of the even numbers between a and b. So you may think about where is the value for a and b. The value for these functions, this is a calling function. The value for this function will be given in the main section. Clear? When we call this particular function. So don't bother about the value for a and b. So here we have given another name. So anyway we want to find the sum. So here we have declared a variable sum1, because already the variable sum is given here. So we have declared sum1 and it is of integer type, isn't it? So this is the thing we want to find out. So we have declared this is a default value and we set 0 for that. Okay, this is the value we want to find the sum. So we want to find the even numbers between a and b. So what is the first value? Suppose a is the first value. What is the final value? B is the final value. So in order to find the even numbers, we can seek the help of for loop. That is, for int I equal a. So this is the initial value. Semicolon I less than or equal to, what is the final value? It is b. Then I plus plus. Each time the value will be incremented by 1. This is our for loop. And we have opened our for loop. So what is the next thing we want to do? We want to check whether the entered first number is even. If it is even only, then we want to add that even particular number with the variable sum. So we are checking this, that is if, with the help of if loop. If statement, that is if I mod 2 equal to 0. So this is a condition for checking whether the given number is odd or even. If the remainder is 0, then we get, that is if the value of I divided by 2 and if the remainder is 0, then we can say the particular number is even. If so, then that the value of I is added with the initial value of sum. The value of I is added with the sum1. What is the initial value of sum1? That is 0. That is 0 plus I. That is stored in the variable sum. So after that we again go to the for loop and we increment the value and we will check the condition until the value of I less than or equal. That is, check until the value of I equal to b. And we find out all the numbers, even numbers between a and b. And we find the sum. After finding the sum, the net value will be in the sum. So you people know how to do all these things. Okay. The value will be in the sum and we want to return this value. So after that, close it, close the for loop and return, give the statement, return sum1. Why we are giving like this? Because here in this function you can see that the return function of this function is integer type. And we want to return the result value. What is the result value? Sum1. And we want to return this value. And it is of integer type, isn't it? So the value of sum1 is returned. Clear? That is return sum1. Then after that, close that function. So this is our first function. So move on to our next function. Our first function is over. So you work out this for loop and you will find given a particular value for a and b and you find out the sum. Okay. So the next function is double sum of double n. So the function name is sum, and what is the return type? Double. And what is the value we pass to that function? The argument we pass to the, or parameter we pass to that function is capital N, and it is of double type. So in that also we want to find the sum of what series? So this is our second function. So this is the series, and we want to find the product of this series, and it will be stored in the variable sum. Clear, students? So you can see that what is the first value? It is 1.0 into, this is the second term, 1.2 is the second term, isn't it? So what is the difference between 1.0 and 1.2? First term and second term. The difference between these two terms are, when we add point, that is 0.2 or 0.2 with the first term, we will get the second term, that is 1.0 plus 0.2. We will get 1.2, isn't it? When the second term is added with the same difference term, that is which is the difference term, that is 0.2. What is the result? We will get the third term. Like that it goes on until n. Clear, students? Suppose a user, this is a value, this is a final value, n is a final value. Suppose a user gives the value of n as 2. So what is the sum? We want to find the sum of these two terms only, 1, 2. If the value of n is 3, we want to find the sum of 1.0 into 1.2 into 1.4, that is 3 terms. Suppose he gives the value of n as 4. We want to find the sum of 4 terms, first 4 terms, that is 1.0 into 1.2 into 1.4 into 1.6. Isn't it? So I hope you got the idea. That is, this is a series, and the difference between first term and the second term is 0.2. For each iteration, it differs by 0. It is increment, the value will be incremented by 0.2. So what is the initial value of I? Since it is of double type, the initial value is 1.0. This is the initial value. What is the final value? That is n. So here is a program, that is the function, that is we want to find the sum, and we have declared the variable. Since it is the return type is double type, we have declared the variable double sum2, and here in this variable we are going to store the sum of this function, and it is of double type, and we declared the sum as 1. Clear? So our for loop goes, that is for double I equal, so you know that what is the first term? 1.0. Then I less, that is the final term, less than or equal to n. Isn't it? N is the final term. Then each time, for each loop iteration, the value of I will be incremented by 0.2. That is I equal I plus 0.2. So instead of this, you can give I plus equal 0.2. Both are right. Shorthand assignment operator also we can use over here. Clear, students? So if the initial value is 0, and we will check whether, suppose a user gives the value, you don't bother about this value, where will the value of n appears? It will be on the main function. Clear? That is, when we call this function, the value, when we are calling this function, the value will be whatever value in the main function, that will be passed over here. Suppose 2 is the value of n, we want to find the sum of first two terms. Clear, students? That is, since we want to find the product, that is, what is sum to initial value? 1. 1 into, what is the initial value of I? 1.0. So the net result is 1.0. Again we go to the loop, increment the value of I by 0.2. Then I becomes, what is the value of I now? 1.2. Clear? Like that we continue the process until the value of I equal n. So we find the value for sum2, and we want to return that value, that is return sum2. So what is the return value of this variable? It is of double type. Here see, the function is of double type. So this is a second function. So our second function is also over. Let's move on to the third function, that is int sum of int n. Clear? Here the name of the function is sum. What is the return type? Int. Clear? So what is the argument we pass to the function? Only one argument, and it is also of integer type, and the variable we pass to that function is n. So here in this program, the third function, you can see that the argument we pass to that function is of integer type. It is a number with one integer argument, and they have given that calculate and return the sum of only odd digits of the number n. That is, and we want to input a number, and from that number, entered number, we want to find. They have given the example also. This is a number. From that number, we want to find which all are the odd numbers, and find out these odd numbers and find the sum of the odd numbers. So which for in this number, which is the odd number? 43,961, 3, then 9, 1. These are the odd numbers, isn't it? So we want to, and we get the odd number, and we want to find the sum of this odd number. So this is our purpose. So in this function, we want to extract the digit of that, the final digit of that number. Extract each digit of the number, and for that, storing and that particular extracted digit, we are using a variable LD. In order to extract each digit in the number, we are using this variable LD, and it is of integer type, int LD, and we want to find the sum, isn't it? The sum is of integer type, and we have declared it as 0. So here we are not aware of which that is which type of number the user will give. Whether it is a 4-digit number, whether it is a 5-digit number, we are not sure, isn't it? So we can't use for loop here. That is, we don't know the initial value and we don't know the final value. So here, with the help of while loop, we can extract each digit in the number. So by using a while loop, we want to check the condition whether n greater than 0. We want to check the condition whether the entered number is greater than 0. Suppose just consider the number is 321. Just consider. Is 321 greater than 0? Yes. If the number is greater than any number or the sample input they have given also, you can check that number also. Okay. 321 greater than 0. We have checked. Yes, it is 0. Since the condition is 0, we go to the while loop. So what is the first thing? We want to extract the digits of the number. So we want to extract the digit from its ones part. So in order to get the ones part, that is the final number. That is the final number. That is, we can use this modulus operator. That is, and that particular extracted digit is to be stored in the variable LD. That is n mod 10. That is, number should be divided by 10, and we want to check the, we want to collect the remainder. If 321 divided by 10, and what is the remainder? We know that 1 is the remainder. That 1 is to be stored in the LD. And our purpose is to check whether the number is odd. We want only the odd numbers, isn't it? Here we want only the odd number. And we want to check whether the extracted digit in LD is equal to an odd number. So what is the condition to be checked? That is, for that we are using a for loop. If LD mod 2 equal to, that is double equal to 1. That is the condition to be checked for whether the given number is odd or even. Sorry, odd number. For even, we have to give 0. For odd, we have to give 1. So if it is 1 mod 2, so we know that the remainder will be 1. 1 can't be divided by 2, so the remainder will be 1 itself. So it is an odd number. Since it is an odd number, that particular extracted digit is to be added to the variable sum. Here the sum variable is sum3, so LD is, that is 1 is added with the sum 3. The initial value is 0. 0 plus 1. That is to be stored in the variable sum. So we have find the sum for the first odd number in that digit. What is our next purpose? We want to extract the second digit. Isn't it? So in order to extract the second digit, before that we have already extracted the final digit. So we want only the remaining digits in that number. So we have used this condition, that is n equal n by 10. We want only the quotient part. So students, all of you work out all these things. Okay, that is the 321 divided by 100. So what is the quotient part? 32, isn't it? That value is to be stored in n. And with this n value, we again go to the for loop and we check the condition. Until the condition violates, we check it. After that, our desired purpose is over and we will get the value for the sum 3 and return the value of sum 3 and close this function. Clear? So I hope this function is clear for you. So you have to work out this particular code with an example. Then it's very clear for you. This is very simple. So I hope it's clear for you. So this is our third function. So we have written all our functions. So what is the next thing? We want to call all these functions. So for that, in the question itself, they have told that create an object to overload the function. So for creating the object, we want the main method. So we are going to write our main method. So this is our main method, that is public static void main string of arguments. Then open brace here. Since we want to invoke our functions, we want to create an object. So what is the syntax for creating the objects? All of you know, that is class name, object name equal new constructor, isn't it? So here the name of the class is overload. Here the object name is O equal new constructor. So we are going to invoke our first method. So all of you know which is the first method, or method or function. Function can be also known as method. Which is our first function? That is, this is our first function. Sum of int a comma b. Both the arguments we pass to that function is of integer type. So we call, that is how we invoke a function: object name dot function name or method name. Here in the first method, since there are two integer arguments, here I have given the value of a as its and b as 10. So when we call this function, the control will go to that function. This function seek for which function have this type of argument. Then the value, this particular values are passed to, that is the value of 6 is passed to a and 10 is passed to b. Clear? So since we have two more functions are there, so this is the second function. O dot sum of, what is it, double of n, isn't it? So here I have given the value as 1.4. What is the meaning? That is the first 3 terms, isn't it? Then the control will go to, when we call this function, the control will go to the particular function. Clear, students? So we have invoked the third method, that is O dot sum of, the value we pass to that function is n. It is an integer type, isn't it? Int n. It is the whatever value given over the example itself, that is 43,961. So when we call this function, this particular function searched for this value and that particular value will be passed to the variable n. So with that variable value, they process that function and return the result. So our main function is closed and class is closed. So this is the program. So students, you write the output for this function also. So I hope this program is clear for you. And students, be sure that this type of questions will surely ask for your board exam. So I hope this question is clear for all of you. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me.